What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the haptic feedback on the Dualsense controller. Very kind of different video. This is definitely not the kind of video I would normally make, but let me tell you something. This obviously came out yesterday, right? There was the trailer for it there, and now all of a sudden, and I'm recording this obviously in the moment, there's just game after game after game after game just saying, hey, let's talk about what kind of, feedback the controller is going to give you with our game for the PS5, okay? So I want to go through some of them, and mainly I just want to gush about this. Look, this is a different controller than the DualShock, okay, the DualShock 4. They made a lot of new changes, both kind of like on the like the surface level in terms of like the triggers, right, being a more receptive trigger. Again, just kind of changing some of the stuff, maybe making it a little bit closer to the Xbox controllers. A lot of people really like the Xbox controllers, but let me tell you, this haptic feedback thing is ever since they announced it, absolutely incredible. When they talk about like the water, how you can maybe like the stuff like that you can feel, or like it can give off temperatures and stuff like that. I mean, that is next level stuff. And again, I mean, I'm not like, I don't know, I'm not like I'm not looking for these kind of news stories every single day, right? Before this controller got announced, it's not like I was like, over the moon on it. But let me tell you something. Let's go over just a few things. So let's start with Miles Morales, and then we'll go through some of the others. So Miles Morales, this is what they say. The haptic feedback precision allows us to do all sorts of things. In Spider-Man, Miles Morales will be hinting at players which direction attacks are coming from by providing haptic feedback from the appropriate direction on the DualSense controller. What does it feel like to use Miles' stealth ability? How does a Venom blast feel? Because of the high resolution of DualSense wireless controller's haptic system, we can really push the dimensionality of the feedback. For instance, as you hold down square to do a Venom punch, you feel Spider-Man's bioelectricity crackle across the left side of the controller, culminating in the right side on impact. And they talk about how they'll show more, or they'll talk about and show more later. I mean, okay, there's a lot of words in there. I don't even understand all of them, but let me tell you something. If you can literally feel a punch, like you can feel a and I can even imagine that. Like, think about some of these games that you play. I mean, just think of an example where like you hold a button and it charges up an attack and then it lets go. I mean, if they use the power basically of this controller, they can make you feel that, which I mean is literally, again, like next level stuff. So that's amazing. Then we go to Deathloop, which in my opinion, this one's small, but this one I feel like this is the first one I saw, by the way, of like what it can do, and this one got me the most excited. Maybe still does. It will literally stop you from firing with the triggers, the adaptive triggers. Remember, because that's what they've done with these triggers now. The adaptive triggers will literally stop themselves if you run out of ammo, basically, or it'll jam it if your gun is jammed in the game. I mean, that is think about games where you unload a clip and then you need to reload and you forgot to reload and you shoot again and nothing comes out. Well, imagine now that the controller itself, you basically feel like you're doing it, where then if you press it, the controller will lock you out of actually pressing the button. Like you'll have actual like resistance there, and it won't let you do it. I mean, think about how incredible that is. That, I mean, look, and I'm going to keep going because I do love these things. They talk about Ghostwire Tokyo. We get Ratchet and Clank. We're talking about the resistance points when firing. The Gran Turismo 7 actually feel and understand relationships between braking force they want and tires grip. Now, I'm not a racing guy, but still, if you can literally feel like when you brake in any driving game, like when you're literally hitting the brakes and you can feel your car like slam on the brakes, I mean, that is so incredible. And again, you can go on. You got Sackboy, A Big Adventure will let you feel stuff. I mean, look, that's kind of the recap part over. Now let me gush about this for a second. This is, in my opinion, game-changing. Look, games have gotten really good at a lot of different things, okay? Mainly visuals. They've gotten very good at it. We have had, to some games, or some mediums of games, we've had some stops, in terms of like, hey, maybe they haven't been able to push forward this kind of thing in a game. I feel like, again, gaming has made a lot of strides visually, but in terms of maybe creativity with actual gameplay and stuff like that, there has been some delays to it. Now, I'm not saying like there's none. There's so many different kinds of smaller games and so many games in general that just do so many different things. Obviously, the gaming is being pushed forward, okay, in a general direction, but you can go in all different ways with it. But there has been some stops there. This controller thing is literally not even something I thought about. Like when I think of next gen gaming, I really want the gameplay to catch up. I want storytelling. I want like interactions in the worlds that are being built. Those are the things I think need to catch up to the actual visuals, right? We know games look absolutely amazing, but can they tell a good story? Can they have really good characters? Can a world truly, I mean, yeah, we have visuals, but can the world really feel like it's lived in? These are some of the examples, by the way, of what I kind of want everything else to catch up on, which they haven't done yet. In my opinion, now again, I mean, some games I think are like masterpieces. Some games I think are some of the greatest games. Like the games I think are the greatest games of all time. Obviously, I think they're doing something right? And I kind of want everybody else to get up to that point. We look at like Naughty Dog with what they've done. You could say with everything after Last of Us Part 2, you could say obviously maybe they've dropped in some categories, but you look at them and you say, okay, well, they're at like this elite level in a couple different ways. A lot of studios can't say that. You know what I mean? And so I want eventually everybody to kind of be, obviously there's going to be some studios that are just elite, they're just better than everybody in some ways, and they'll always be better, but we have some catching up to do. This controller stuff is not even something I imagine, but I really feel like it changes games so much, provided, and this is kind of a worry of mine, provided that they actually do it. I feel like we're going to, and in fact, what we've even seen so far, these are all, I think every one that I listed for you, they're all PlayStation exclusive games. That is, in my opinion, kind of the problem. You look at the PS4 controller, I like the touchpad, I like the light bar, but games don't really use them. Now, yes, the touchpad has been used, mainly it's used for like maps, right? That's kind of an easy thing, but there's very few games that take them, right, and do something very special. That's why I kind of like Astro's Playroom, the game for PS5. Because like those games, and like historically, they've used the controller for like all it's worth. You know what I mean? Getting the most out of it. It is my worry because this haptic feedback thing is so, I think, revolutionary and game changing. But I mean, if you put so much work into it, you don't have the same thing for Xbox. You don't have the same thing for PC. You don't have the same thing for Nintendo Switch or their next console when they do that. You know what I mean? So are we going to get all of these games doing it? No, and that is a problem. And I don't, that it's kind of disappointing. Like, would we like a Batman thing to do it? Yes. Would we like, some other kind of third-party big game to use this? I would. I personally would. But I don't know if they would, simply because they have to kind of do it for everything. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like one system or one, device holding another one back. But I mean, these things, at least for PlayStation exclusives, which honestly, again, you look at PlayStation exclusives, they're already so diverse, so good for the most part, right? There's a lot of really good exclusives. Now add this on top of them, I really do think it kind of takes it to the next level. If you can really feel things, you can feel temperature, you can feel resistance, you can feel you can feel punches and all these different like moves. I mean, that's what Demon's Souls said. Demon's Souls came out and they said, okay, what you're going to feel with us is the impact of when you hit somebody or even when you get hit. So I mean, that is absolutely incredible, and we just don't have that now. And so to add that on top of, for now, what we can probably assume is just PlayStation exclusives, again, I think they'll make their way into other games that want to give it a try, but it probably won't be as like fleshed out. I think it'll be the most fleshed out in terms of PlayStation exclusives. It really is a game changer. I've loved the look of this controller since day one. I've loved everything we've heard about it. We've heard the battery life is even longer, right? Obviously because it doesn't have the light bar, but all of these different things, this controller I really do think is game changing. I'm going to be getting it day one. Hopefully I'm going to get 2 of them day one, and I absolutely cannot wait to experience some of these games. And in fact, again, I don't love the fact that you can't use the PS4 controller on the PS5. I get that it's been its history. It should not be a surprise to anybody. It's honestly not a surprise to me. I like that you can use the PS4 controller to play PS4 games on your PS5. That's fine. In all reality, I get it. I get why you shouldn't use why would you want to use a PS4 controller on these PS5 games when they're doing these kind of crazy next gen things with these games? Why would you want to play Miles Morales on a PS4 controller if you play on PS5 you have all of these just additional immersion tactics with the controller? Why would you do it? Why would you play Demon's Souls? Why would you play any, you know what I mean? So it sucks because of money wise, because we're all gonna have to spend even more money than we already would, but at the same time I really do get it, and I've always been a fan of this controller. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Are you excited for this controller? Did you like what you heard with these these games? Are you pumped? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up, and I do a brand new video on this channel every single day, and so I hope to see you guys for tomorrow's video.